First of all, I'd like to congratulate you all. For the last 2 years, I've been doing this at Lotsar, and this is our first time moving here. So I commend you all for going to the right place, kind of. Everyone's in the right place at the right time. So I appreciate you all. Welcome. My name is Kimmy McBurney with Allied Home Inspection. I'm so excited that you guys are here. I think this is an awesome topic, and I'm so excited to dig in. Gonna move at a moderate pace. Got a lot to cover, have some awesome contributors, and then an awesome panel that I'm so looking forward to hearing all about them. So, this was Rookies of the Year. I was actually really inspired. I've done this before with agents who were successful in their first year, but it wasn't necessarily the previous year. I think Jonathan Gonzalez was one of the members of that panel. So really speaking to agents who have had successes in their first year, but it wasn't necessarily their actual first year. But this year, we'll get into it when the panel comes up, we had 2 agents who happen to be with Keller Williams who were recognized for being top of their class in the Carolinas. So that really inspired me. I was like, we've got some primo talent here in Western North Carolina. So I really wanted to showcase those agents, especially last year was tough, right? We had a natural disaster. So not only did these rookies crush it in their first full year in real estate, but they did it with some major obstacles. So I think it's just such a testament to what's working right now, and I'm really excited to learn from them. So, kind of a little bit of an agenda. We're gonna get a market update. Our friends from Atlantic Bay are here, excited for that. And then we're gonna talk about some tips and tricks. Dave with Asheville Video Marketing is here to share some of his secrets. Then we have a keynote. Maria with Keller Williams is here to tell us a little bit about the magic that goes on over there. And then we will welcome up our panel. So, in preparing for this, I was really inspired. Recently, I read the book Think and Grow Rich. Who's read it? Right, when was this written? I mean, early 1900s maybe? Incredible book. So if you haven't read it, I recommend it. I actually did audiobook. It's a little bit of a slow read, being written some time ago, it's tough. But I love this quote. It says, "The way of success is the way of continuous pursuit of knowledge." So that's from Napoleon Hill from Think and Grow Rich. But one of my favorite chapters was one called The Power of the Mastermind. And I'm gonna ad-lib, so I'm surely gonna butcher it, but I'm sure you'll get the concept. And really, they basically said a professional mastermind, or really a mastermind of any sort, is the only proven example of like telepathy. They say when there's a meeting of a minds and you guys are talking, that you can genuinely generate energy that wouldn't have been present otherwise, or ideas or other things. So I feel like as real estate professionals, someone gives us a hard time because we mastermind all the time, right? We lunch and learn all the time. But genuinely, you can quote Think and Grow Rich that is the most powerful example of, kind of meeting of the minds and mastery. So they can just deal with it. So real quick before we get started, if you guys have ever seen me speak, you've probably seen me do this. So humor me once again. I want to tell you guys a little bit about who we are. But my first exercise, as always, if you could bring out your phones. I know, taboo, we're going to be on our phones for presentation. If you could find us on Instagram, preferably, I'm going to ask a little favor. We're Allied Home Inspector on Instagram. So if you don't follow us, I'd love for you to give us a follow. What that's going to do is put you in my news feed right now. If you do follow us, find a random post and like it. The more random, the better. What that's going to do is also put you in my news feed for a little drawing. So there's some incentive. So I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to do that. I'm going to refresh. And I need some Jeopardy music or better cell service. All right, well, this loads. So the reason I do this, we put a lot of effort into our social media. Really, there's nothing I can say in the next 2 minutes that's going to convince you guys to use me over another home inspector, and that's okay. I want you guys to really get to know us organically, and I like to do that through social media because we, like I said, put a lot of effort into what we post. We post every single day. We post field finds, right? I think that's really helpful for agents, especially new agents, because then you're seeing what we see, right? And it's kind of an educational moment. And then also, you get to know our team. So please give us a follow. Marla Amps? Is that someone's username in here?
Sorry, yes.
Did I butcher it? Marla, you look beautiful today. I just need to say that. So, Marla, I'm going to hand down my personal copy, which is for you to have. So once you read it, please pay it forward and pass it along. So thank you. Thank you, everybody, for humoring me and playing along. So just real quickly, we're Allied Home Inspection. This is most of us now, except for we now have one more in our operations team. We are 6 licensed inspectors, 3 of which are female licensed inspectors. Very proud of that. Yes, thank you. So yeah, just, and I think that serves agents because of availability, right? You guys want to have inspections when you need them. Also last year, we launched our septic division, a female-led septic division. Are we noticing a theme here? So we do septic in-house now. And then we also launched our commercial division. Any commercial agents in here? Maybe dabble in some commercial? Kevin, I like it. Cool. Well, we'd love to help you guys with commercial property assessments, or if you have a colleague that does commercial, would love to work with them. So moving on. Okay, one more thing about us. So you guys know I love a good event, right? We're here for Lunch and Learn. We have trivia next week, actually right here in this same room. We do trivia. would love your vote. We won Best of WNC last year for Mountain Express, so that voting is going on right now until the end of April. So would love your vote. Also, we are hiring. So preferably a home inspector with experience, minimum licensed. So if you guys know anyone awesome, I would love to meet them. So please introduce me if you have anyone in your world. Okay, so wanted to thank our sponsors, because as you guys know, these things don't happen without our sponsors. So our headline sponsor today, Jacob, give a wave. Jacob Wyke is the owner of Nexus Realty. One of his wonderful agents, Bailey, is on the panel. They do some amazing things over at Nexus. And like I said, this really is just to provide opportunity for you guys, because you'll hear a lot about Bailey. Definitely speaks to the power of being in a brokerage. It's helpful. Nexus invests over $50,000 a month in Zillow leads. They're top 50 nationwide. I like this. They're by the Bojangles on Long Shoals in Arden. Or I'm a Burn boot camp gal. It's right next door. So anyway, so plug to Jacob for supporting this event and supporting agents, and he's fantastic. So if you guys have any questions for him, I'm sure he would welcome them towards the end of this. So they're a headlining sponsor. Also have a couple other parties here. Closing Simplified, our favorite transaction coordinators. Feel free to introduce yourselves to them. Best of Property Management, I don't think they could be here, but they're wonderful. Atlantic Bay, Cody and Rachel, we'll hear from in a bit. And HomeGauge, where'd HomeGauge go? There they are in the back. I love it. HomeGauge I'm familiar with. They come from the home inspection world, but they are actually branching out into some agent services. So happy to have them here. Please introduce yourselves, grab swag, all the things. All right, now we can finally move on to the meat of it. So again, Cody and Rachel, they're with Atlantic Bay. I asked them to kind of come give a 5-minute kind of market, finance, housing update. So let's welcome up Cody and Rachel. Yay! All right, one for you. I'm gonna take that and turn it on. Okay. There you go. Don't be too loud. All right.
All right, is this one? Haha, all right. How's everybody doing? There's no alcohol there, Kimmy, so I know. Next time. Next time. For those of you that do not know us, A, you're missing out, but B, my name is Cody. Been with Atlantic Bay since 2012. I can say 13, lucky number 13 years now in the mortgage industry. So.
Hey guys, I'm Rachel. It's good to see all of you. I'm with Atlantic Bay as well. I'm going on my 3rd year, 15 years in the finance industry. How many of you guys are watching the markets right now? Anybody? It has been a wild ride, right? We are coming off low rates, high inventory, and have been in a high rate environment for the last 3.5 years now. So if I can give you any advice whatsoever, it is partner with a lender that knows the market, knows loan programs, and is going to be able to advise your clients on what is going on day to day, because it's huge. It's not just what their interest rate is. It's long-term financial planning, wealth building, strategies on rate locks, all of that. So Just kind of a quick market update. Tariffs are either on or off, at any given time, and that has really impacted what's going on with interest rates. So we can see the bond market shift in huge ways, from day to day. Right now, interest rates are in the high 6s for conventional loans, low 6s for government. But again, that just goes back to strategic planning with your lender, having those conversations with your buyer day to day. So if Cody and I can help you in any way, just let us know. We're happy to give you advice on what's going on. Also wanted to give a short plug. We are having a brunch and learn on April 22nd from 10:30 to 12. So we are going to be talking about what the behind the scenes stuff in the bond market is going on, actually what builds an interest rate and what goes on behind it, helping you guys with conversations around higher interest rate environments, not just talking rate with your client, but what the other benefits of having a mortgage are. We're also going to have an insurance agent there from Farm Bureau Insurance to talk to you guys about the changes that have occurred since Helene. And how to get ahead of some of those high insurance premiums, get around them. We'll also have Scott Angelo from 2020 Builders there. He's going to be talking to you about the implications of tariffs, what we're expecting from all of that, and how we can advise clients who are looking at new construction. So we hope to see you there. You can email either one of us to RSVP. We still have a little bit of space left. Thanks.
And we'll have our contact information up in just a second. Because this is, the Rookie of the Year, we wanted to hit some high points of how we can help you win the deal on the approvals that you've got going on, the buyers that are looking. Of course, getting your buyer pre-approved early, not just pre-qualified. If y'all are showing the house before they're actually fully approved, then y'all are wasting your gas until we get that full approval taken care of, because we know exactly what their budget is going to be, and that can happen in as little as an hour. So get them to us and we can get that taken care of. And definitely lean on the team that you built, whether it's us, another lender that you have, another attorney, inspector, the insurance agents that we're going to be bringing next week. Lean on your team. You're not in this alone. Because several of us have been in this industry for decades. So use, I pointed at you specifically, but I have two. But understanding the difference between the rate and the payment is a big deal too. The best rate does not always mean the best monthly payment, and vice versa. So making sure that we can explain that, and we're going to be going over that a lot more in detail next week too. And then setting those expectations with your client, and getting with us to make sure that you know what those expectations are looking like. Here is our information. Yep, we only had 5 minutes. That is just the tip of the iceberg for you guys. But feel free to call, text, email anytime, and we're looking forward to seeing a lot of your faces next week at our Brunch and Learn.
All right, our showbiz mic swap here for 1 second. You gotta do it for the gram. 1 second. All right, and I just wanted to give a personal plug for Cody and Rachel. I do not invite vendors generally to participate that I have not personally worked with. Cody has done a personal mortgage for me, really went in the trenches. Obviously, we own our own business, so we were the whole bank statement, a fiasco, and Cody was incredibly responsive. Really appreciate him. And then Rachel and I actually team up on a lot of renovation loans. Atlantic Bay does wonderful things with renovation loans. So if you have any clients in the renovation construction space, reach out to them. They are fantastic. So, Dave, I love it. So next I wanted to invite up Dave with Asheville Video Marketing. He made this slide himself. Dave, to me, is an incredible business ally. He, I don't know how we met a couple years ago. And I joke that I'm the long play. So it was probably 2 years before I actually ended up using his services. But we recently rebranded. If you guys have seen any of our website video, professionally produced video, we recently ran a targeted Facebook social media ad. So if I spammed you, you're welcome. And that was all Dave. So Dave is like my guru, know-it-all on video all things marketing. So he's going to give you guys a little taste of kind of some tips and tricks that you guys can be successful as newer agents, early seasoned agents. Dave, Asheville Video Marketing. Try not to kill yourself.
Try not to kill yourself, okay.
This looks like a death trap.
Oh, okay. So my name's Dave, and I help service business generate leads, win referrals, and close deals with video and strategy. I do, I work with realtors a lot, people in real estate. I do a lot of social media marketing stuff, focused on video. And today I want to talk about, there we go. What I would do if I was a real estate agent just starting out. What type of content would I be putting out there to generate leads, spending, little to no money, and not spending a lot of time either, because I would be doing a lot of the things that, the panelists are going to be talking about later, I'm sure too. So I'd want a simple process for content creation that would be manageable for me, and I wouldn't be like consumed with social media all the time. So the first thing I would do would be to choose a niche. And I know, that can be a little scary. You want to appeal to everybody. You don't want to, exclude opportunities or whatever. But it's 1,000 times easier to market yourself when you're marketing to a specific type of person in a specific type of situation. For me, if I was a realtor, I would go after first-time home buyers who are looking for a starter home, stuff like that. I'd even have an ideal client avatar that I would target because it's a lot easier to market, again, if I know specifically who I'm talking to. So, you can write that out for yourself, kind of like what that person's like and their likes, dislikes, what they're looking for. I would just go after someone like myself because that would be the easiest person to market to because I know who I am. Kind of. I mean, I'm not in therapy or anything, maybe, but I know if I was in the home buying process, what am I looking for? What am I thinking about? What kind of content's going to appeal to me? Stuff like that. So I would target someone like myself, self-employed entrepreneur, dad, looking for this price range in this area, stuff like that. And the type of content that I would focus on would be home tour videos. I wouldn't do brand building stuff. I wouldn't do educational videos. I wouldn't do lifestyle stuff. I would just do home tour videos. I would look up homes that are on the market. I'd get in touch with the agent, the listing agent, and hopefully I've heard that sometimes it's more difficult, I guess, than I assumed sometimes. But you want to approach the listing agent, see if they'd be willing to let you do a video tour of the home, and put that out there. And that these types of videos can be extremely simple to make and very effective to generate interest from all kinds of people. Well, specifically the kind of person that you're looking for, because they're extremely shareable. And on all social platforms now, the number one thing that you want to optimize for in your video content is shareability. That's kind of the benchmark thing that helps the algorithm understand whether to push your content out more. And so these types of videos are really shareable because they can be generally interesting to just people in the area who want to see what's going on in the neighborhood or look at nice homes, and also people who know people who are looking for those types of homes. Would be more likely to share that content with the kinds of people that you want to get in touch with, and they're relatively easy to target with people. So what I would do, I wouldn't just do any home in the area that's on the market. I would only do the homes that my ideal client is going to be interested in, and I would make that clear too on my profile. I'd optimize my profile so that it said I help first-time home buyers get their starter home in this price range or whatever, and that's all the videos that I would feature. They're low tech because you can really just do this with your phone, just do a walkthrough of the house, and do a voiceover. So they can be kind of faceless videos if you want, Relatively simple to produce. There's endless content because there's always homes on the market, hopefully continuing to come on the market for you to make videos for. And you can make really simple hooks for these videos. So the hook is the most important part of the video. It's what's going to stop the scroll and kind of really help you get the attention of the kinds of people that you want to talk to. And so, these hooks are typically really easy to make. Like if you're looking for a home in this price range, this is for you. If you're looking for a home in this neighborhood in this range, this is for you. If you're looking to have this monthly payment, whatever, stuff like that. Like they're so simple and they work. Like you don't have to lose your brain trying to think of that stuff. And then the strategy to get clients with these types of videos is just to have a call to action in the caption, obviously. If you want to tour this home for me, reach out. If you want to see more homes like this, reach out. But the most effective one for you is going to be through the DM. So anyone who comments on these videos, anyone who, mainly people who comment on the video, you want to not only comment back, but you want to DM anyone who's engaged with these videos who seems like they're the kind of client that you want to talk to. And just start a normal conversation with them. Hey, I saw that you liked this video I did. What did you like about the house? Or, kind of stuff like that, just to kind of open a conversation so that you can eventually get to are you looking for a home right now? Why did you like this video in the first place? These are the strategies that I think I would use because, again, they're relatively easy to do. They wouldn't take a ton of my time, and they work. I mean, they work. So, and if you have any more questions about this, you can follow me on Instagram and DM me, and that's it.
Thank you. Would you pass that to Maria? She's walking up. Maria. Okay, thank you. Again, like I said, I cannot speak highly enough of what Dave does. He's a genius with the video and his business. And it's scalable, right? He has packages to kind of fit every need, even, from simple social media to full rebrand. So he's been incredible. And like I said, I personally used him to run some targeted ads because I saw his targeted ad all over the place. I was like, Dave, you're in my face every day and I need more. So how do we get that done? Talk to Dave. So keynote, I usually don't traditionally have a keynote per se, but like I said, when I was building this panel, I'll be honest, Julie was my first inspiration. Like I said, to know that in our region, we had the top Carolina Rookie of the Year for Keller Williams. So again, this is not a Keller Williams advertisement, but it's powerful that in the two states, they cover both North and South Carolina, that we had that kind of talent here in Western North Carolina. So kind of inspired me to look elsewhere, right? Who else do we have in the same realm? So I do think I did a post and opened it up to suggestions, which is where I met a lot of the panelists today. But again, naturally, and we do have some diversity, we have some other brokerages as well, but 3 of the top agents who have really, really impressive statistics came from Keller Williams. I think most of you guys know when you meet someone who wants to be a real estate agent or who's new to the business, I think a lot of us, even if we have gravitated towards another brokerage, might plug Keller Williams, right? Because they just do have an extensive educational background and really set agents up for success. So that being said, I invited Maria, so she's one of the broker in charges at the Keller Williams Asheville, the professionals location. So wanted her to come and, like I said, speak a little bit to their formula for success and how we can kind of all take that into our lives and replicate that. So thank you, Maria. Welcome. All right.
Thank you so much. It's awesome to be here. Thank you, Kimmy and team, for putting this together. I'm always in awe of how Asheville real estate, Hendersonville real estate, all around Western North Carolina, how we show up with one another and for one another. And our partners are just amazing. So I only have 10 minutes and I'm a talker. And so Kimmy, Yeah, reel me in if it comes down to it. I am Maria Atkins. I'm so excited to be here, and I thank you all for being here. You could be anywhere today, and yet you chose a moment where you can grow and learn and be together with one another, and that's a big deal. I'm with the executive leadership team. I'm not an official broker in charge any longer, lest the Real Estate Commission be listening in. Today, I'm not managing anyone. So, but I do love to work with our agents and find myself just in a helpful place all across the industry. I don't have any barriers with Keller Williams versus other firms. I love agents and I love working together. So I'm here for you. If ever you need anything, my phone number will be up here, and I'd love to chat with you through that. I was tasked with kind of talking about what are the right things that a firm can do to set up their agents for success. And so I figured we need all the right stuff, because having the wrong stuff would not be good. So I'm going to run through that. It just so happens that Keller Williams offers me a lot from this standpoint. So I'm going to talk through that lens because that's the one that I know, and it fits, but it fits within every brokerage. So the things that we're going to talk about are technology. And I do want to know, before I start, how many of you are first-year agents? Oh, good. Because I was afraid I had all seasoned agents, and y'all were going to be like, you might correct me through it. First-year agents, you got to take what I'm saying, and it works. That's just the way it works. But technology is so important. So how many of you love technology? Oh, that's a few of you. And it's not even high hands. It's kind of like, How many of you actually hate technology? Anybody? Any haters in here? I kind of live in both camps. It depends on what the day is. So the reality is that it is here. It's here to stay. We got to have it. There's no way around it. Believe me, I've tried every way possible to get around it. I have a pen and paper, and I love that. But technology is part of it. So the key with technology, we're kind of inundated with it. Things change so rapidly. In fact, I was in a class last week, and the speaker we were talking about AI, and she actually had to change her slides from the week previously because it had changed already within a week. And so that is what we're in the midst of right now. And so it's really important with technology, I think, that it be forward-thinking technology, something that's going to change with the times, because as soon as you learn the system and the market moves or what you need to have available changes, you got to have your technology change with you. But the biggest thing I think about it is that it's got to be simple to implement. Would you agree with that? How many of you have apps on your phone that you never open? Me. Oh my gosh, I should show you my phone. And my reason for that, or maybe I should have you just kind of shout out, why don't you use it? What is it about it? It's hard to set up. You probably don't even remember when you got it. One Friday night, you're like, this is a great app. So the implementation of it into your business is such a big deal, and so we wind up with all this, and it's just confusing. It's just noise for us. So finding those products that your brokerage offers to you or that are out in the marketplace, but making sure that you can actually take it away and use it today in your business. And the other thing is that it be purposeful in your business, that it's relevant to your business. You're going to hear a lot of things, and when I hear about video, I get so panicky over video, and I'm like, I can't do it. I'm never going to do it. I may never, Dave, you and I may not work together on that side, but I bet Dave can show me how I could actually do that and get over my biases towards it. But if you're not going to use something, just because somebody says this is a great product, don't go jump into it. So that's the piece I want to leave with you about technology, is only things that you're going to use in your business. The other thing would be systems and models. Keller Williams is big on systems and models. We talk about it a lot. And I'm glad for that, because otherwise I would be reinventing the wheel every single day. So there's no need for that. If you're new to the business, you don't have to come in and be so incredibly creative, because formulas work. They're tested, they're tried, and we have quite a lot. I actually meant to bring up our red book. Those of you who are Keller Williams, you know what the red book is, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. It's available to anybody. You don't have to be with Keller Williams. You can actually go on Amazon and get it. But that is a great framework for starting your business. We also have a playbook, and I wanted to show you that, because if there's anybody here who says, you know what, I really want to drive my business with open houses, I would be so happy. Don't anybody tell. that's Keller Williams. But I would be so happy to share some of those pieces with you, because I love to see you be able to be successful through implementing those systems. The other thing is the right data is so important, and we pay a lot of money, don't we, for data. And we're fortunate that our association and our MLS provides us with really incredible data. Uh-oh, I don't know where that slide is. I bet I deleted it last night. Technology, see what I mean? It can wreck you. I had actually a slide up here of one of our, we call it SAM in MLS. Are y'all familiar with that? And are you using it regularly? I know, I want to shake my head because even I find myself not doing it. I'm headed out. The reality is with data is your clients have access to loads of data, and most often it's headlines. It's not actually always pertinent to our area, and they may be telling you, well, the market's so bad. And so use the data that you have. It takes just a minute. We have such tools at our disposal, and you do pay good money for it. So make sure that you're headed out. You know what homes have hit the market today and last month. Do that check. You've got to sift through it with them, because your clients are not always coming to you with the most correct information. Too many headlines today, I would say. And then the other thing is and you may have, even if you've been in the business, many of us would say that coaching and training is still important because everything is changing. And even if you've had the best year of your life, it's really easy to hit a ceiling. And I know that our panelists will kind of talk to some of those things of how do I push through to the next level. And so that is really important. All the best of the best have coaches. It's nothing new. It's not new to real estate. Athletes, Tiger Woods, I keep thinking of just the people who have coaches around them. It's so important. And then crucial would be the people that are around you, your peers. And I would say this to you. Think about when you come into your office today, yesterday, the people that are around you and things that they're speaking out. Sometimes we can find ourselves kind of bogged down in, oh, the market's rough, oh, I'm having a tough time. Position yourself with those people who are growth-minded, that are going somewhere, that didn't wake up today in such a bad mood that they're going to make you go home today in a bad mood. That is really important. Your partners, we've talked about the vendor relationships and how crucial they are. Our clients, again, are depending on us to be their trusted advisors. And for me, I know I can only advise as well as the people I'm getting advice from. And so that's why our teams like Allied and Dave and Atlantic Bay, I mean, it's so good to have people that we can trust, that we can get to know, that we can be in total relationship with. And then also your leadership that's around you. That is a really important thing. You want to be surrounded by people who are genuinely concerned with your personal goals, and they're going to find ways to help you get there. That's crucial because real estate, let's face it, is up and down. And the last thing that I want to tell you, and this is total Keller Williams, I can't help it, and I didn't even have this guy in the picture, but I thought of it last night, that there's three things that are so important, and probably none of anything else that I've said matters if the right you isn't showing up. I don't know if you know about the buffalo versus the cow, but it is a big thing for Keller Williams where when 2020 hit, I mean, everything changed during COVID, and that's when that actually came out with the tagline of Charge the Storm. And what I found so interesting, I didn't know why there was a buffalo or what buffalo do, but it turns out that cows actually, when they see a storm approaching, they lie down. And buffaloes, on the other hand, buffaloes, is that a plural? Buffalo. I don't know what the plural is for that. But that caught me. Buffalo will run hard and fast towards the storm. And so I love that. TJ, don't tell me what it is. I'll find that out. Because, let me make my point, aptitude is probably the least important in our business, unless you say, oh my gosh, don't say that. What I am meaning is that as agents, we will sometimes try to learn everything there is to know about video or about the things that we need to know about. Those things can be important, but it's probably not the thing that's going to differentiate you in success. You can learn a lot of things, and as long as you know who to go to learn those things, you are partway there. So surround yourself with those people you're going to run to. Beyond that, your outlook is very important. I wish I had the data slide up here so that you could see that there's two ways that I could go and look at the March data, either in a negative way. There were 1,400, I think, new listings that came on in March, and that was, I could walk around kind of like, that was 1,400 homes that I didn't list myself. Or I could look at that data and I could say that's 150, I think, ish more homes than were this time last year that were new to the market. And so keeping that positive spin on what's happening, life is happening all around us, good and bad, but we can push ourselves towards having a very good outlook. And it all comes down to attitude. I know some of you have probably been on the other side of a table with an agent that you wonder, how do you ever sell a house? Do you even wake up in the day to try to sell a house? People do not have equal attitudes, and I promise you that. The world doesn't owe you anything, so if you came in here thinking it did, I would love to dispel that. Our attitude matters, the way that we show up, the way that we treat one another, and the way that we charge into hard times. So I'm thankful for this opportunity to be together with all of you. I can't wait to hear our panelists and again, to learn from you. We all can learn from one another. Stay growth-minded and go charge the storm.
I'm going to ask each to introduce themselves, but I'm going to brag on them slightly before they speak because I know that sometimes it's not as easy to do it yourself. So I'll start with my right. So Ben, he is with eXp Realty. Clarissa sells WNC here. Really cool to have met him. So Ben is one of the ones who has had less than a year. So he started just in May, hit the ground running. So he's done just about 14 transactions in less than 1 year. So definitely on pace to have a great, I love the energy. Great first year. So Ben, super quickly, tell us a little bit about your pre-real estate life and kind of how you got to where you are.
Thanks, Kimmy. Ben, everybody. Nice to meet y'all. I moved to Asheville in 2018 and was in the mental health field then. I come from a long maternal line of real estate professionals. My mother and grandmother were both in real estate, so I kind of grew up around it and decided to get involved after was a little emotionally exhausted from that mental health work there, and decided to pursue real estate, and here I am.
Awesome. Don't mind me, just taking videos of you over here. Thank you, Ben. Okay, so Steven impressively has a little more time under his belt, but in his first full year in real estate did 23 units, just about $9 million. So, Steven, tell us how. I love it. A round of applause. Steven, how did you get here, and what's a little bit about your background?
Yeah, Steven Zimmerman with Keller Williams, also with Johnson Property Group. Pre-real estate, my wife and I owned a photography and videography business. We still do, just at a lesser level. I got into real estate because I've had a love for real estate for a long time. But I went to buy my house and had a horrible agent. So I was like, I'm paying her how much? So I came in wanting to serve others. And that's kind of what got me into real estate.
Cool, appreciate it. So again, Julie, a little bit of my inspiration for the event. Like I said, she was top Keller Williams Rookie of the Year in both of the Carolinas, coming in her first year in real estate at 26 transactions, just about 9 months. Right, yes, please, round of applause. I mean, some agents are lucky to do half of that in an advanced career. So Julie, how did you get where you are today?
Yeah, thank you. I'm Julie. I'm also 36 weeks pregnant, so if you were curious, this is real comfortable for me. But so prior to real estate, I actually worked for the largest home in America for Biltmore Estate. I was there for 8 years in the corporate world, started opening the Village Hotel and hospitality, and then worked my way into the marketing department where I was a project manager and then ultimately running their social media. So one day I just kind of reflected back and realized, like, okay, I've got hospitality, tourism, marketing, social media. How can I use these tools for a business of my own? And so as comfortable as that job was, I realized I could put that into my own business, and it proved itself true, and yeah, had a really good year and just love what I'm doing.
I love her modesty. Had a good year. I mean, really a good year, but fantastic. Thank you, Julie. I really appreciate that. Next, Bailey. Bailey is another agent who's really stood out to me on social media, and I've been really impressed. She's had a little bit longer of a journey, but what I found so interesting was basically in the last few months, you've got almost 16 closing pending. So you are absolutely on pace with the rest of the agents up here. So, Bailey, how did you get to where you are today?
Well, my name is Bailey Vaughn. I honestly don't have such an exciting story as you guys. I was stay-at-home momming it. I was working in restaurants, just trying to make it work. I had a communications degree. I knew it wasn't for nothing. So I was like, what better than to do the sales thing on another level? So kind of took what I knew from college and entered into the real estate industry. It was tough in the beginning, finding your home and the place that's going to work for you the most. But when I finally landed in a place that made sense at Nexus, it all just kind of worked out. So, yeah.
I love it. Perfect. And last, yes, please, rounds of applause. Last but not least, Alex. So another Keller Williams agent. So again, it was introduced through the notoriety of being the number 2 rookie of the year for the Carolinas region. Again, incredibly impressive that for the entire state of North and South Carolina, we have 2 of the top producing rookies for Keller Williams. So thank you for being here. So Alex did about 22 units in his first full year in real estate, just under $7 million. And I think I heard you say the other day, you're on pace already to have done that for this year. So incredible. Yes, let's do it. So Alex, remind us, so where did you come from and how'd you get where you are?
Hello. Well, I came from Belarus when I was 9 years old. We landed straight in Asheville, and I don't see myself ever leaving here because the mountains are awesome. But yeah, I went to college, supposed to be a heart surgeon. Here I am selling houses. But then from there, I worked at the hospital for a year and then decided I really love cars and stuff. So I went to the dealership, worked there for 6 years as a finance manager. Then realized, they say if you can sell a car, you can sell anything. And so I was like, well, why be stuck to a small little dealership lot and only being able to sell what's over there? So why not be able to sell pretty much anything in North Carolina or bigger at that point? So decided to get my license and literally sold my house. So I have enough saved up for 6 to 8 months to be able to pay for bills and stuff like that as I made the transition with, at that point, I think 3 kids and a wife. So that was very stressful, but it was definitely worth it. So.
Wow, what a testament. That's really cool. I did not sell my house to get into my career, so I'm really impressed. Okay, so we'll start back in this side. In the future, you guys can hang on and we'll just go the other direction.
Start that now.
Okay. All right. Alex is going to go first. He got to go last on the intro, so he gets to go first. Okay, so what did your first few months look like, right? You've got the license, you've sold your house, pressure's on. What did it look like? What were you working on?
It was like trying to learn how to ride a bike off a cliff. It was stressful because, it's a lot that hits you, right at the same time. It's not what they show on TV, it's not like one of those, oh my God, it's all glamorous and really easy and, the deal's done and you're done and, get a paycheck from it. So it was very stressful. It was a lot to take in at the same time. Luckily, I had already deals working. In fact, one deal was I'm over there, signing documents to list their $1 million property, and I don't even have MLS access. So that was like begging MLS to please let me in. They're like, 24 to 48 hours. So it's like, no, you don't understand. I'm here. So it was very stressful, but it was awesome. Had awesome mentors as well, which always helps because you can't wing it. That's the last thing you want to do. You're not selling a car, you're selling a house. It's the biggest decision for somebody. So it was definitely stressful, but if you have the right mentors and everything, it definitely works out. So.
Yeah, I love it. So speaking, like I said, to the 5 principles that Maria highlighted, surrounding yourself with people with great mentors, and I know some of them are in the room right now, which is really cool. So Bailey, same question to you. What did those first few months look like? And I know that was a little bit of a transition for you, so you can speak to those few months or your most recent few months.
Oh my God, it was so hard. It was so hard, you guys. I didn't know what even to start doing. I didn't know how to fill my day with real estate activity. I didn't know any of the systems. I didn't really have a ton of guidance, and I was constantly seeking training, constantly seeking who can I call all the time to ask all the millions of questions that I need. And it just took so long. And then it just finally, hit. I found some people that I could use as a support system, specifically one, Alex Cobb. I call him 20 times a day, still to this day. So, the coaching thing, if you will, or the mentor thing definitely comes into play as a huge helpful part of being successful. And then I just poured in those first few months to getting education, doing the ABR, the SES stuff, just trying to learn as much as I could. And yeah, I would just say that it was super rough. And so don't give up is my best advice as far as your first few months, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask you a double question. So, because most of your recent success has been in the last few months. So what changed? What's different to help you find that recent success?
I think just time, really, but also like it was finding the right brokerage. To be honest, like I did not spend the time I should have right off the bat. I went into a situation where I knew the people, and I was like, yeah, let's do this. This will be great. But it just wasn't there. The support system wasn't there the way that I needed it.
Sure.
Other people were successful. It just wasn't for me. Then I was like, well, let me see if I can transition into an independent position instead of being on a team. Yeah, that was pretty rough too. I mean, then you got to procure your own leads. How the heck do I do this? I don't know. So I floundered around for about 10 months doing that. And I finally was like, I've got to find some happy medium here. So I sort of found something that's similar to the team aspect with the support. The system's already in place in the training, but I also am still running my own business and doing things independently too. So I think it was just finding that perfect spot that would work for me, less fees, better splits, all the things. So
yeah. I love that. And what I want to take from that is like, don't be afraid to move, right? I think that was what was really inspiring for your
just
story.
Do it.
Just do it.
It sucks, but just do it. Yeah.
Which I think most everyone else is where they started, but I really wanted to highlight that example of if where you're at isn't working, feel free to move.
Right.
And shout out to Nexus, one of our sponsors,
Straight
is where Bailey's at now, which is incredible.
Yeah, it's a perfect happy meeting.
Awesome. Okay, Julie, same question to you. What did your first few months look like?
Yeah, I think it first came down to being decisive. So I didn't have a real estate background, right? So I specifically remember like sitting on the couch with my husband and being like, how many houses am I going to sell this year? And I just said the number 23. I had no idea that was a big number. I just was like, I'm going to make this happen. And that I was, burned my bridges. I was like, 23, there's no looking back. There's no plan B. We're going to do this. And from that point forward was when I was just figuring out the strategy to do it. And I know we're kind of going to dig into strategy a little bit, but essentially I just did whatever I needed to do to meet that number. So I just began the work.
Yeah, I love it. There's no substitute for hard work. Awesome. Yeah. Stephen, same question to you. What did the first few months look like?
Man, it was amazing. It was easy. I got a bunch of deals. No, the first couple months, so one, education. I went ahead and got all my stuff done, licensed in North and South Carolina. I joined Johnson Property Group. So I moved here from Boone. I had absolutely no sphere, knew no one, knew nothing about real estate. And having people around you in the business that, are doing $30 million a year. Or, I think we looked up the other day and it was like over 100 years of experience in real estate within just that one group. So there's people I can only speak for Keller Williams and Johnson Property Group, but there's people in and around you in this business that are willing to help. And when they're willing to help, it also gives you a chance to give back. So I didn't have my first deal until March, but I was able to do the $9 million from March all the way to the end of the year. So just
with a natural disaster.
With a natural disaster.
So you really had 6 months. Incredible. Again, going back to the principles that Maria outset, like surrounding yourself by people, and I think all of you, eventually that was kind of the key to your success. So Ben, same question to you. What did the first few months look like?
Yeah, not to harp on it, but definitely the first few months was just me leaning so much onto my team that I joined, specifically Alessa and Clarissa in those first few months, just because every transaction is different and learning about it as you go along, leaning into the uncomfortability of maybe not having all the answers, but knowing you have the resources to acquire them after that, and making sure that you have those people that can give it to you was definitely essential to that slow start as you get going.
Yeah, I love that. So again, common theme, find somebody you can ask questions to in real estate. I know that's rare. If you don't have that right now, this is your memo that's what needs to happen, and it's possible and it's out there. So Ben, unfortunately, you're going to hang on to the microphone for this one. So what did you do? How did you quickly evolve, right? So we're past the first few months. What's working? What isn't working? How did you kind of gain some momentum to have the success that you did?
Yeah, I think, so identifying what it was about interactions that either kept clients with me or that first interaction that made them decide to go with me, and making note of what that could be. So personally for me, it was finding moments of value to provide to these clients very quickly, and making sure that they not just had an emotional connection with me, because that's essential, obviously, providing highlighting something that I've seen on a home inspection 3 houses ago so that they can see it on their first home tour instead of finding out about it later and being like, I know you're very excited about this house. Here are some things I'm noticing. So I kind of leaned into less about selling the home and more about providing value to those clients so they could trust me, and then we could move on from there, even if it wasn't that house that we were touring there. So yeah, finding those moments to like provide value.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. Yes, thank you. And it's like, to kind of highlight something you said to me when we first spoke, it was like, it's that objection handling, right? Like if you can do it quickly and provide value, you're gonna move past it much quicker. So I love that. Okay, you can pass to Steven. So Steven, same, right? You said your first 3 months you're learning and meeting and kind of by osmosis learning. But then how did you gain momentum past that in those 9 months you said that you really did most of your work?
Yeah, this really goes back to the last question. And why me coming into a business that I've never done would I try to reinvent the wheel? Why would I try to do things that I think are cool or that I think would get me a client when I have people around me who are doing it? So I really became a copier of like, okay, what is this guy doing? I'm talking to this person that's doing a lot of business. Where did they fail? Because you learn from failure more than you learn from success. And so being able to take in what everybody around me was doing and also taking my failures and learning from them has really helped me evolve.
Yeah, incredible. I like it. Julie, same question. So when you started to gain the momentum towards your 23 transactions turned to 26, what did it look like?
Yeah, kind of what you guys are saying here is that instead of selling homes, I was really just helping people and helping families, and I was making them feel cared for and loved. And that feeling, once you give that to somebody, they start to think about their friends and family and the people that are going to be going through the same very stressful process, and they're going to want for their friends and family who they love to feel that same care and love in the process that they have felt. So a lot of the times one transaction would double and triple, and that was always my goal, that every transaction would kind of compound on itself, and I think that's where the numbers increased because I just built referrals based on caring for the people I was helping.
Yeah, I love that. And it's like, don't focus on generating new business when you've got this sphere and or clients you can kind of 10x. I love that premise. So Bailey, same question. And so you would probably focus mostly on the last couple of months. So what in the last couple of months really can you attribute your momentum and success to?
Well, I guess it would be like a combination of faking it till you make it, following up till they die, just spending your whole day. If you're not out doing real estate, you should be in doing real estate. So I figured out how to do all of that. And then basically, you know, you come out of school and they make it so scary. Like there's so many rules, there's so much legality, so much, you know, to be worried about. And I just was able to kind of find because of Nexus, they're like, don't make it so serious, you know? And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. So I stopped, you know, making it so serious and going in and just being real with people, like you said, getting to know them, finding places where we had common ground, like, do you have a dog? I have a dog too. Those things link you with people. Yeah. And then they feel more comfortable. So I guess it was just like learning to learn about that particular person and finding that connection, and then it was like locked in.
Yeah.
And they trusted me. Yeah.
And the fortune's in the follow-up till they die. I like it. Alex, same question to you. So when you started to get some momentum, what was that for, and like how did you keep the momentum going?
Honestly, so the way I started, I didn't know anything about the business. So I remember I was like, I literally paid like $1,800 to have my face on this big thing on Patton Avenue. I was like, that's the way. I'm going to get so many phone calls. They sold the idea to me. And 30 days passed. Like, hey, you want to renew? I was like, not a single phone call. Like, oh, that's not what that's for. That's just to get exposure. Oh, that's what I was like, oh, that's when I realized there's a difference between, you know, actually having exposure and having somebody connect you. And that's when, or connect to you. And I was like, you know what, there's a difference. So instead of having to be known or want to be known by millions yet, there's no need for that. Like you need to be in that, like you said, the sphere of influence, the circle of friends, you know, the 1,000 or whatever people you have friends on Facebook, you know, the people you already built rapport with through different connections and times you met up. So start with those and work your way through. And you know, like Julie said, it's a domino effect. It really is. So if you take care of them, if you're knowledgeable, even if you don't know something, be honest. There's, you know, you got to tell them like it is, because you don't want them to find out last minute, you know, that there's an issue with the house you just sold or whatever. So just being fully transparent, working your butt off. Don't say no to any showing to, you know, going out there. When I first started, I showed this guy one lot that was 12 acres in the mountain, and I was dressed like this, and the guy was like, I want to see every corner of that lot. So that was fantastic. And then another lady, I showed 26 houses in Silva, and she decided to stay in California. So that was awesome, you know, but that gave me exposure. I learned about the market. You know, I seen what it's doing, what it's not doing, what's selling, what's not selling, and got to see, you know, 26 different houses and what conditions they're in. So it's all about just not saying no and just working it. You know, if somebody wants to see a house, it's not a Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 type of job. You got to be out there weekends and just always working. So if they reach out to you, they obviously want to do business with you. So don't say no.
Yeah, I love, and you're going to hang on to the mic, Alex. I love that you brought that up. I think when I did the previous panel of people who are rookies of the year in their own right, that came up a lot. It was like, you do not have work-life balance. You take everything you can get. I mean, I know we're in this for the long haul to eventually be a little more independent and in control of our schedule, but I always like to highlight that because I do feel like there's a little bit of a taboo, like, oh, you can make your own schedule and it's real estate, but really there's no excuse for the hard work in the first year. You're not saying no. I'm always like, what's your work-life balance? And everyone's like, what is that? Tell me more. Okay, so I have a two-part question. I'm going to kind of combine them. What is your top lead gen? And so what do you credit your success with? So assuming your credit comes from your best lead gen. So Alex, what is kind of a lead source for you?
Definitely social media. I think for a lot of us, the way it is, and what I realized real quick is that, like, no matter if you're on the buyer side or listing side, whenever you have like 3 to 4 chances to be on someone's feed line off of one deal, right? Let's say you're listing a house, you can post it, you know, just listed, went on the contract, closed. Or on the buyer side, you know, just went on the contract, inspection time, final walkthrough, closed, you know. So that, if you multiply that by 2 or 3 deals a month, I mean, you should be on their feed line every other day in some sort of form. So it's all about just being on there. And they might not comment on it, but they see it. Like, your people see it, whether it's Instagram or Facebook. That's what I realized. And then they'll randomly just reach out. And I went through my requests on Instagram. Turns out, like, it marked a lot of them as spam. I had no idea because they never talked to me, but we're actually friends. And they're like, hey, I want to sell the house. I was like, crap, that was a week ago. So, you know, stuff like that. But it's social media is big for sure.
Yeah, I love it. There's a whole premise behind social media, like you said, just being seen. I mean, some email marketers just want to be in your inbox long enough for you to read their name to be deleted, right? So I think that's really powerful, and I think a lot of you do pretty well on social media. So Bailey, same question to you. What is your top lead gen, and what has led to kind of more of your success?
Well, like you said, Nexus pays a lot into Zillow leads, so clearly that's going to be my first lead source. And being new, it's great because I can get the Zillow lead, and then those people are going to refer me to 2 or 3 other people in their family or friends. So it's sort of like a foundational building using Zillow, but I do heavily engage in social media, and I try to do something at least every couple days, try to mix it up with the content, do a little personal, do a little business. So that's definitely brought in some leads, which is great, and I just got a listing from it, so you can't complain, you know?
I guess. And I do want to harp on that too. Zillow, like, there is no shame in paid leads, especially when you're starting up. I mean, especially if a brokerage can provide that to you, but I know I always like to kind of harp on that as well. Like, I know it's a little taboo, but it's really...
People do be hating on the Zillow, though.
Yeah, no, whatever. It's a necessary
listen,
evil.
For a new person, it is hard to procure leads. It is
100%.
hard to find business.
Yeah.
And if you want to be like heavy hitting, getting lots of leads and lots of opportunity, it is a great way to do it.
Agreed. Start out. Okay, Julie, so same question, like, what's your top lead source that leads to, you know, most of your success, if any?
Yeah, I would say my top lead source would be my sphere, but I communicate with them through social. So it's kind of like a 2-piece where I'm staying top of mind. I'm on stories every day. I try and post once a day. And so I'm the first story they're going to see, and it's a consistency thing. It might not be something they need help with now, but in 6 months to a year down the road, they're going to know that that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to be the first call.
Yeah, I love that. By the way, follow all of these folks, but Julie especially, I think, is a great example of real estate agents doing it well. So thank you, Julie, for that. Steven, same question. What's your top lead gen that I assume leads to most of your success?
Yeah, I have to be honest, this question I don't like. The reason being is, like, it's not one thing. My top lead source, if I had to break it down, is relationships. So, you know, your relationship with your team, your relationship with your parents, who are your biggest cheerleaders that talk to their neighbor. You know, you're sitting in line at the grocery store and you're waiting on that old woman to bag her groceries, and some guy's behind you. Talk to them about real estate. Like, even people not ready to buy or sell are interested in the market and interested in real estate. So relationships and having conversations with people, you don't know, social media, all of it, all encompassing.
I love that. And I also want to harp on that because I feel like it's another stigma of new agents. Like, I don't know anybody. I'm new here. I'm not from here. I come from a different field of career. But I think all of you in our pre-interview said, like, work on your sphere, right? You know these people, 10x that, multiply it. And I heard a little Chuck Johnson in there, like, you can build real estate into any conversation, and I've literally witnessed him do it. So I love that as well, like making it about real estate. So Ben, same question, top lead gen, and if it contributes to most of your success.
Yeah, I'm also, I would say the top lead gen is Zillow Flex as well. Yeah, I'm here with you. And yeah, I absolutely love getting called about real estate as opposed to like trying to call somebody else about real estate. And so I love that about Zillow Flex. And yeah, I love that. And then yeah, also Sphere, I am involved in the community apart from real estate wise, and then sometimes, like you said, that organically works out. People got to live somewhere, so that why not use the person you play volleyball with? Just me.
And rumor has it you're pretty good at it. So yeah, but doing things you love, I think, is genuine, and I think it's going to be more organic. And again, if paid leads are the way to go, then that's what you need to do. Cool. Okay, so Ben with the microphone. If you could start over, would you do anything differently?
Yeah, so the first couple of months, as we talked about, are just like very difficult. If I was starting over, I would really try to get my systems in place early so that I could get into that routine early, whether that looks like creating your business email that's not now split between two different emails that go to a third mailbox to put them all together kind of thing. Is getting the system set up early so things start happening without you putting a lot of mental load into that so you can concentrate on the things that matter.
I love it. Steven, same question. If you had to start over, would you do anything differently?
I think like small things I would do differently, take follow-up more seriously in terms of like every single day, touch them in some way. But honestly, not really, only because I feel like I got really lucky. I joined Keller Williams. And then I joined a team that's been absolutely fantastic. And I want to harp on that because as a new agent, we didn't know anything. You don't know anything. Mm-hmm. And so having people around you that can absolutely help you in any way possible is huge.
Yeah, and I think, again, another stigma of joining a team is, of course, there's a cost perspective, right? Like, I'm sure you're paying for that. But if you're paying for that leverage to double your transactions or triple or quadruple what a normal new agent would be, like, don't be afraid of that to plug into somebody who has the experience. So I love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool, thanks. Julie, same question to you. If you could start over, would you do anything different?
Yeah, so thinking through like January 1 to December last year, the full year, I was an individual agent and I would have definitely delegated sooner. So I used a TC for one of those transactions. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was just like, I can do this myself. But just because I can do it doesn't mean I have to do it. So I have made a commitment to going forward, use a TC. That would be one piece of it. And then the other piece was just to get out of my head sooner. I only had to have 1 to 2 experiences of being nervous to call somebody, then finding out maybe a week or two later that they were listing or buying a home. And that just was a missed opportunity because I was afraid to call them. So just kind of getting out of my head and being confident on the earlier end versus missing those people.
Yeah, I love that. If you need a good TC, shout out to Close Simply over there. Give us a wave. Some fantastic TCs. So Bailey, same question to you. If you could start over, would you do anything differently?
I would learn to be shameless quicker.
No
gotta be shameless. You gotta put your face out there, and it's hard. Like, I don't want to see my face. I don't want to see my face plastered on everything, but you have to do it. And then probably just researching brokerages a little more in the beginning and making sure that's like the most important thing you can do is take the time to really research, go on the interviews, make sure this is going to work for you. And it's hard because you don't even know what they're offering is going to work, right? So I would just say spending a little more time doing that would have gotten me going a little quicker. And also maybe getting a coach or somebody that I can just call all the time. I mean, I get that for free technically, but I was lucky to find him, and I don't think everybody's...
I like your free strategy better.
Yeah, everybody's not that lucky, so I was very lucky. But yeah, if I didn't have that, I might have gotten a coach too.
Yeah, cool. I love that. Alex, same question to you. You could start over. Would you do anything differently?
For the most, did I do something? I didn't touch it.
Did you break it?
Hello?
there you go.
All right. That was sabotage. Okay. For the most part, not really, because Keller Williams does provide really awesome training, like just being legitimate and honest about it. Like it's awesome. They do it, and of course, I had awesome coaches and mentors. Just a great feel overall. The only thing I would change is learn the market quick. Like get out there and start looking at houses, start touching houses. I'm a visual learner, so for me that was very important. And the quicker you could become like an asset to your clients, to your friends, to your sphere of influence, the quicker you can get out there and get those deals. So I think it's just being out there, just learning it. Because if you're trying to do it part-time, it's not going to work because the market changes every few days, honestly, right now. So it's very important to know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I love that. So Alex, hang on to the mic. So kind of last question, and I will allow questions at the end, so feel free to start drumming up if you guys have any specific questions. But you guys are already having really stellar 2025s. So Alex, what advice would you give for new agents or any agent struggling at this time? How have you found success in the first few months of 2025?
I think I've already covered it, but it's just not saying no, like to anything, to really being out there to show people, even if somebody says, hey, I might be 2-3 months out before I'm ready to do it, just meet with them, because the quicker you can build rapport, the better. Open houses, love it. It's amazing. Do them. For your listings, for other people's listings, because after things that changed last year, a lot of people I've noticed show up to look at the house and they don't want to sign anything yet, so they want to see it before they do any of that work. It's just, in the open houses, you can really build, you got the time to build a rapport. They're obviously looking, and you got the face-to-face instead of through an email or phone call. So just being out there, just don't say no to any deals, to any showings and things like that. I think it's important.
Yeah, and I almost want to skip to Julie really quick, because she had some really cool pre-interview stuff about open houses. So Julie, talk a little bit more about your strategy about how you do open houses. And that was your first deal, right? Was from open house.
Yeah, open houses are awesome. I think, especially if you love being in front of people and talking with people, they're really great. And so something that I would do, and I would encourage you guys to do too, if you're doing an open house that, is a specific price point, square footage, all of that stuff, I would like sometimes go ahead and print a couple of other listings that could be similar to that house. Of course, you always want to sell the house you're in first, right? But if it's not a good fit for that person, I would be like, well, we're not giving up here. And so that's where I got my first client, because he was like, I love this, but I'm looking for a little bit of this. And I was immediately able to share with him like 2 to 3 other properties that I think would have been a better fit. And so I was like, hey, this ends at 2 o'clock. As soon as it ends, let's go meet at that other house. And my first deal was just under $1 million because I brought him to the right house. He liked it, it was timely, and it was very stressful. He had no idea he was my first client, but just being prepared, being a practitioner of your work and being consistent, and like he was saying, like, don't say no. If it's easy, you say no, you'll never see that person again. But if you are determined, it will happen.
Yeah, I love that story. Thank you for sharing. So back to Bailey really quick. What advice do you have for new agents or agents struggling at this time?
Find your tribe. Find your inspectors, find your lenders, find the people that are going to make it happen, that answer your phone when you text them in a timely manner. Those people are going to make the world go round in real estate. It's not just you that makes the transaction close. It's all those people that are involved, down to the septic guy. I mean, if you have reliable people on your side, you're going to kill it. And then just looking at this job like being a solution seeker. So just constantly not ever saying no, always saying, well, here's what we can do, and offering them multiple options for solutions. That's the best way to do it.
Or driving them straight to another house from your
Or driving
house.
them straight to another house.
I think that was pre-NAR settlement though, right? And now you'd have to probably throw in a buyer agency agreement. But I love it. So Julie, same question to you. What advice do you have for new agents or agents struggling at this time?
Yeah, I've been talking to a couple of people that just got into real estate, and my biggest advice to them is just be consistent. Consistent on social media, consistent at open houses, consistent with talking to people and having a certain amount of conversations a day. I don't think any store, if they opened just once a month, thought that their proceeds would be good enough to stay open, right? So we just got to keep showing up, and you have to have that drive and passion for it. If it's not there, it's not there. But if you're consistent, it'll prove itself. So
I love that. Steven, same question. What advice do you have for new agents or agents struggling at this time?
Yeah, I mean, they covered so much on that, but all of us have struggled. Us up here, people out there doing $50 million, they struggle sometime in the year. What I always go back to are the basics. Come into the office, make your calls, call your sphere, call your family, post on social media, do whatever you can, and if you just grind, and like you said, don't say no, do the open houses, do the things that other agents aren't willing to do, and you're gonna get that business.
Yeah, I love it. No substitute for hard work. So Ben, same. What advice do you have for new or agents struggling at this time?
I would say come join our team at eXp Realty and Clarissa, so you can
shameless.
get the support
Shameless plug,
that
I
you
like
need to succeed. But yeah, no, find those resources that you're able to lean on in those moments for support, and you come join our team.
Cool. I love that. So I'm going to ask one just generic question, and only if you feel compelled, you guys have to answer. Anything else that you guys were kind of itching to share that you don't feel like you've been able to touch on yet? No, if you're so well spoken, I love it. Okay, I will open it up just briefly. A lot of times we don't have a lot of questions because they're just so phenomenal that they left you speechless. But does anybody have a question for any of the panelists? Ooh, you guys, this is the time, right? This is your opportunity. Well, if you, now we've got a few. Okay, black sweater over here.
What was the turning point from where you're not sure if you're going to make it to the point where where all of a sudden things are looking up and you've got this?
Okay.
What was that critical turning point?
So we won't go with everybody, but if someone's compelled to answer, was there a turning point of I'm not going to make it to, okay, I've got this?
Switching brokerages.
So Bailey said switching brokerages, really finding that team was for her.
It was a mental switch for me. I was working part-time at the beginning, and then it was just no, I'm gonna make this work. It more so that came before the success.
I love it. I mean, so that's two people kind of jumped in, or most of you jumped in kind of full force. So I love that. Great question, Robin.
For those who are not on teams, I think is that only 2 people?
Julia's not on a team, and Bailey's technically not. So go ahead.
Julie, are you the only one who's not on a team? I mean, I think that speaks to teams can work really well too. But,
Sure.
Okay, so Julie, and kind of Bailey, but I get that y'all are doing the Zillow lead, so it kind of addresses my questions. So I was gonna say, whoever's not on a team, which is Julie, obviously your sphere has really paid off and things, and then that kind of it sends out roots, right? That feed more leads. Are you paid? I wish we had more people who were solo agents who were doing this too, but it speaks to the power of a team, right?
Sure.
Alex is also.
Oh yeah, Alex is solo. Oh, poor
Yeah.
we forgot about Alex over there.
Okay, Alex and Julie.
Okay.
So those who are not on a team, are you paying for some type of lead generation, like Sync, or are you on your own doing your paying for Zillow leads? I'm just curious if you're paying for leads in any way.
I like that question. So just to repeat, so we have a microphone, are the solo agents, do you guys pay for business in any way?
I do not. It really, like I said, social media, I don't do any paid social, I just do it organically. I have had social for years and years and years, so I've grown an audience that knew me far before real estate, and real estate's a know you, like you, trust you business, so that has paid off a ton. But again, I think one piece of it is I treat, I had 8 pending the other week, and this one lady who was a part of my 8 just said, "Thank you for making me feel like the only client you're working with." Oh, cool.
So did I.
Right.
Go ahead of the game for a lot of people who are just using social for our personal lives. So I can see that. But I love that. It's special that she said.
Yeah, so I think that's the biggest thing, right, is just truly not making them a transaction, but truly caring for them every step of the way. My husband's on the roof blowing leaves off before we close, so it looks so nice. We try and do those things, so then again, they go, I have to have my mom or my grandmom experience the same thing. And so that pays immensely, but without it truly being paid, so.
Cool. I love this question. So Alex
Okay,
tried to
wait,
get out of it, but he couldn't.
I have
Okay.
paid for leads. So
Okay.
I was independent for 10 months, and I paid for, oh God, it was expensive. It was over $2,000 a month for probably 6 months, and I might have been getting 6 to 8 leads.
What were you paying for? Zillow?
Yeah, Zillow. And then I did US HUD because I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, oh, cool, this is cheap. I might have gotten 1 lead from all the US HUDs that I did. And then I did Zillow for about like 5 or 6 months at over $2,000 for 6 to 8 leads. It was just, oh my God, it was maybe 2. And I'm still working on 1. And I mean, he's a good one. But, you know, it doesn't come right away. So, yeah, it's rough out there buying your own leads for sure. And I wouldn't say it's exactly going to bring you what you think it's going to bring you. Because honestly, the way that Zillow does it, like you kind of get the crappy leads. After all the teams get the leads, you get the stuff that they don't want or they're passing on. And so it makes it tough.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Alex, same question. Have you paid for any leads?
No.
Besides
no.
your billboard that didn't go so well.
That was painful. Hey, tax write-off. No, and I never paid for a lead. I honestly never made a cold call either. So one thing I noticed is, like, when you get started, obviously you don't have experience, right? You don't have much on that side to offer people, but communication is key. That's one thing that will pay off big time. I tried to put an offer in, and the other agent couldn't get a hold of for 3 days. Like, it was just like, how does, if only your seller knew, you know? So it's all about the communication. Yes, I tell people, like, hey, if I'm up, I'll answer the phone call. I probably don't want to do that for the rest of my life, but that really does pay off because they want to be able to get a hold of you when something comes up. It's a stressful moment. It really is for the buyer or the seller side. You know, it's the biggest decision that they're making. So just being able to connect to them, and I've always been known for reaching out to people even like months ago. Like, I have a list of people that reached out, maybe accidentally, not accidentally, but like said, hey, I might be looking for land. I'll send it out to them even if that was a year ago that they said something about it, because a lot of clients, I realize, don't want to feel like they're bothering you. But if you're messaging them, they love it. They're like, oh man, this guy's still thinking about me and he's doing well or she's doing well, you know? So it's all about just that communication and not forgetting about clients. It really does pay off. And like, you know, everyone said, that's what they want their client or their neighbors or friends to experience as well, so.
Yeah, like Bailey said, follow up till you die. I'm actually probably going to cap it there in respect of everyone's time. I assume you guys would be open to questions if anyone DM'd you or came to you individually, because like you guys said, you all attested to people who helped you guys get where you are. So one last round of applause for all of our panelists. Please, please, please. Thank you guys so much.